Hey everybody, Irman Brady here with HorrOrigins. Thank you so much for tuning in. For the month of May, we've been interviewing Asian American filmmakers, just like myself, on behalf of HorrOrigins. So today we have the amazing Kristine Gerolaga, based in Los Angeles. A little bit about her. Kristine is a Filipino-American actor and filmmaker who specializes in genre comedy and dramatic films. Welcome, Kristine. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me once again. Appreciate you guys at HorrOrigins for sure.
Of course. Now, something that is trivial that I'm sure you hear a lot, but let's just dive right into it. Like, let's talk about your background, why you chose filmmaking as a career. So the most trivial question is, how did you get started? What was your pathway into entertainment?
Sure. Well, I put my foot down back in 2009 and said, I really want to pursue a career in acting. I mean, I quickly learned that as a Filipino, that's especially at that time, very difficult to break in. So a few years into like training hardcore as an actor, my acting teacher was like, you guys need to start writing your own content. You need to start creating your own doors into the industry. And so that's when I just started writing and directing my own shorts so I could give myself and other friends opportunities to act, because it was, it's difficult to get those opportunities as any kind of actor. And so that's when it all really started for me. And ever since then, I mean, I always thought I would just be doing this as an actor, but I have completely fallen in love with the process of filmmaking and writing as well. So now I'm kind of just doing that, like encompassing all of it in my career personally, just to tell the stories that I love.
Absolutely.
And also be a part of them.
Yeah.
In some way. Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, obviously you write for yourself too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the first way to get myself an opportunity. I had to hire myself.
There you go. I love it. If no one else will hire you, hire yourself. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. In your personal perspective, and some people may agree or disagree, do you believe in terms of representation in the industry today, has it changed? Is there more Asian Americans seen on camera, in your honest opinion?
Very slowly but surely is it starting to happen. I mean, I think, we had that big breakthrough with a film like oh my gosh, why am I blanking on what it's called? That huge Asian American.
The one that won the Oscar, right? Okay. Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich Asians, right? Yeah. So that was a huge mainstream like thing for Asian American, like just Asian representation in general.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, Parasite, my God, now Minari, right? Like, and those aren't American stories, but they are Asian stories.
Yeah. 2 back-to-back years, by the way, at the Oscars.
Exactly. Yeah. Korean cinema is just outstanding. Truly. Love their films. So yes and no. I think we have a lot of work to do, and a lot more work to do in terms of like, now how can we be more inclusive in terms of getting not just like a certain idea of what Asian representation looks like and encompassing all of it, because Asians are not monolithic, so there's so many more groups within that large group itself.
Absolutely. Now, of course, HorrOrigins knows you for Concealer. So let's talk about your work. Let's talk about Concealer, because that did get you quite a few some recognition at the previous year's festival. So talk about your work with Concealer.
Sure. So Concealer is a short horror comedy about just like the situation that I think a lot of people find themselves in when they're reached out to by an old acquaintance or an old friend, through social media or in a different way. And they're kind of like, oh, I miss you. I want to catch up. How you've been doing? And then next thing you know, it turns out, they're trying to recruit you into the pyramid scheme.
Here it is. Hey, it's been such a long time. Let's reconnect. Let me tell you about my business, but they never tell you what the business is ahead of time.
Yeah. Exactly. But they do tell you it is the best opportunity that you cannot miss. And like, you would be stupid to miss it.
And then after lunch, you drive away. You see them driving away in a clunker.
Yeah.
After they say,
It's either that or they do happen to have like the, you know, the pink Mustang or the pink convertible Cadillac that you end up finding out like they're leasing through the company. They
yeah,
don't actually give it to you. It's just like a whole world that I just did not know about outside of my own experience of, you know, feeling like, oh, I got trapped into a situation
mhm,
where as a, you know, as a people pleaser myself, you know, and I'm growing in my own way,
yeah,
like feeling like, oh yeah, I really do feel like I need to support this person's business. Like
mm,
they're working so hard, they're trying their best, but it's like, wow, the
yeah,
manipulation tactics used to try to get you to buy and try
yeah,
to get you to be a part of it, it's kind of icky, you know? So I thought that really lent itself to the genre of
yeah.
horror thriller and a comedy as well, just because of the absurdity of it. And so that's where that was born out of. And I ended up doing it with Attention and Amazon Fire TV for a mentorship program that
Oh
they had.
wow,
But
nice.
the crazy thing was they only gave us like a few weeks to do
Mm,
it. Like I had
okay,
to write it, do
wow,
all of pre-production, shoot it, and do all of post in
that
a
is
matter of
nuts.
weeks. Yeah, so it was
Wow,
wild.
that was an experience, I'm sure.
It really was such a wild ride,
Luckily,
but
it
I
came out well.
yeah. Oh
Luckily,
yeah,
it came out
thank
well.
you.
Despite all the pressure, it came out very, very well.
Yeah.
You know, by society, it came out very well. So, talk about the story itself, and you talk about the inspiration behind it, but let's talk about the story itself, if you don't mind.
Sure. So it is about two friends who are reuniting for the first time in a really long time. One of them is, you know, told like she would love to be treated, like she would love to treat her to a spa day, so she comes over to catch up, and she soon learns that her friend is trying to recruit her into a pyramid scheme. And it kind of has like the feelings of Get, you know, the vibes of Get Out, and
Yeah.
uh Karen Kusama's The Invitation as well, just like
Yes.
that feeling of like, oh, I'm getting sucked into a cult and I didn't even know it, kind of thing. So it takes place during that
Mhm.
visit, and we just go through the emotions of both characters, what it's like to be someone who is who is trapped in a pyramid scheme and just trying her best to live her life and not let it destroy her life, even though it has been destroying her life. And a friend who's coming in, you know, thinking she's reconnecting with
Yeah.
someone, and it's so much more than that. So all in 11 minutes.
Yeah. 11 great minutes. I absolutely love it. So I know I keep like blowing it up, but like definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet. So what are you working on now that you can talk about? First of all, that's one question, but second question is like, how did you stay afloat during COVID in terms of staying creative? Last year, did you like, what did you do to kind of keep the momentum of creativity in your life?
I got really lucky that a friend had brought me into this anthology feature that she was doing with five other women at the time. So there's seven total of us. Um, and it's basically it's an anthology written and directed by seven women, all about the experience of women in the home. So it takes place in a single house over 7 decades. And for whatever reason, this house keeps changing hands, like a new family keeps coming in and living in this space. And like we see just the effects of the decade itself, the pressures of trying to build a home, and how that affects those women and their families. So I spent the whole year we spent the whole year workshopping our short films together and just preparing it to get to a point where we could start bringing it out to producers and, you know, bringing it to life. So that was a huge part of what kept me going during the pandemic, because, you know, at a certain point, I'm sure a lot of people just felt like, you know, you couldn't even be creative. It was
Yeah.
just such a crazy, hard time. So that project is called Through the Blinds, and we're finally in a stage where we've secured two producers, and now we're about to seek financing for that. So that's
It's you.
one project I'm working on. I recently just starred in a segment for another anthology film, but this one's a horror anthology called Symphony,
Okay.
which was actually born out of Clubhouse. Crazy enough. And one of my friends who wrote and directed the segment I'm in, he called me up and he was just like, I would love for you to be in this. So it's great. I get to be an actor.
Yeah.
You know, I only have to wear the one hat, and a friend is the one writing and directing. So Fangoria was the one who broke the news about that film. So that's something we just wrapped and should be out at some point later this year, hopefully. And also trying to develop a feature version of Concealer. So those are the
It's
major things
amazing.
on right now.
Love it. So good. I'm so glad to see you winning. That's what's up.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Whether it's a filmmaker in general or being an Asian filmmaker, Asian American filmmaker, what would be your, do you have like a mission statement as an artist that you want the world to know you for, before, like, you know, before the curtain call, before you end your career? Like, what do you want to be known for?
Oh, wow. What do I want to be known for? That's such a great question. And I don't know if I've actually thought that one all the way through. But what I do know is that I personally love the stories by filmmakers like Andrea Arnold or Chloe Zhao or Sean Baker, and, like, you know, stories about people who've fallen through the cracks. I love to tell stories like that, but with genre
Okay.
elements.
Okay.
Uh, so that's something I'm working towards, you know, like, and hopefully by the end of my life or the end of my career, I will have achieved that.
There you go. I'm sure you will. I'm definitely sure you will. Yeah. Before we go, where can folks find you on social media? Do you have an official site you want to share?
Sure. I mean, you can find me on Twitter at It's Gerolaga, which is it's and then Gerolaga. Kristine Gerolaga on Instagram, and then my website is just KristineGerolaga.com.
Amazing. Everyone, please check that out. Kristine, thank you so much for your time today. Of course, please check out HorrOrigins on social media and at horrorigins.com. Take care,
Thank
Kristine.
you so much.